right. Good morning, everyone. Tea and Conversation Live. And I did not do my banner that I absolutely love. So I am going to do it anyway right now because I'm so excited to show it. My word. So much is going on. Tea and Conversation Live. Look at that. Oh, I like that. Tea and Conversation this morning. Tea and Conversation in person was postponed because of all of the situation. Like, share, and subscribe. I am the host, Candy Lowe, this morning on Tea and Conversation Live. I have on two of my sisters with me, Tawanda Bradley and Lena Bean. You know, I like saying that. Yeah. So, family, we all know what's going on in the Tampa Bay area with Hurricane Milton. Uncle Milton is who I've been calling him because he is definitely like one of my uncles. He did a lot of wobbling out there and seems like he was on some tequila or something, didn't know which way he was coming, and finally came on up in here in the Tampa Bay area and made his mark in a devastating way. And I have been watching so many of everyone's Facebook posts talking about the aftermath. And I know a lot of people did prepare and they was ready, but they definitely was not ready for this. We do have a little bit of feedback. That's because we are live and we are just a lot is going on in the background of all of our Facebook pages as of, as you hear it. But we're going to talk about, I know that we did prepare like no other. This storm was, just for me, very few storms have ever had me frightened. And I have faith. I saw a lot of posts. If you got faith, why you're afraid? But I was nervous. I definitely was nervous because we watched the last storm, how it came on with the surge and the water was everywhere. And I think that was somewhat, and I don't want to say a blessing, but it was a blessing for us to heed the warning for this storm and that. And I've never seen so many people evacuate the Tampa Bay area. Never, ever, ever. Born and raised in Tampa and have never seen that. Never seen the flooding in so many areas. I am in the E area as well and never had to evacuate. Never have I seen the power off this long in so many areas, which I do understand. There's a lot of dynamics go into this. I have never seen so many people on the ground that are out and helping one another like they are. It also proves to me how Tampa is strong together. Tawanda, could you tell us a little bit about the before and definitely the after? Because I know people were getting prepared for the storm, but a lot of people was not prepared for that morning when we woke up. Not to mention the wind. I got so many calls about wind that we have never experienced the wind the way Milton came in the city, which was just unbelievable. People just did not sleep, and we were glued to the television.
Yeah. So our man Dennis.
So Tawanda, how was it for you all before and definitely the after?
Well, Candy, I have two parts. I have my personal life as well as you know, being the president of Parkers Village Civic Council. I'm there all the time, and the people are first. The people are first. So the preparation, mine started on Sunday. Sunday morning, my church had canceled. So I attend two churches, right? I have the church that I'm now a new member of, which is City of the Lord Tampa campus. And so we canceled our service that day because it had a huge event the day before. And so I chose not to go to my lifelong life church, which is Victory at St. James in Progress Village. I said, I'm going to stay home. And I thought I was going to work a little bit, get a little some things done. But I just was in prayer and I was just praying for the people in the village. Didn't know why, but just prayed. Could not stop praying. Every time I tried to work, I went back down in prayer. So eventually I got to a point I could get to a computer. And then maybe 45 minutes in what I was doing, Commissioner Myers called. So it's like, okay, you need to pick this up because this is Sunday and she's calling. Anytime she calls, what's going on, right? If she's not returning a call. So I picked it up and let's take that back. That started on Saturday. So I went, they wanted to dig bags, help fill bags. Got some people out there. We started prepping on Saturday. Then when Sunday morning came, I was into prayer over and over again, only to find out that they were down there doing bags again. So I went to the village and I felt that I needed to pray over the village. And I didn't know why. I just felt I need to pray over the village. And so fast forwarding to all that, I was back down there on Monday because they had bags again. And then that's when I walked and prayed. When I said I walked the entire village, that was my preparation. I walked and I prayed on every street until it was covered because in my spirit, this was something different. In my spirit is different. At that time, I had not seen a lot on Facebook or anything. I had not seen a lot on Dennis Phillips. I had not tuned in. And so the village was getting ready and other people's lines were a bit long. On Monday, they asked them to evacuate. So that's how we started getting prepared because that was zone B, preparing them to get them out of there. Believe it or not, quite a few, which I was surprised, start leaving on Monday. So I went down there again on Tuesday. Saw less traffic. And then on Wednesday, because Wednesday I had to finalize locking down my personal stuff. But I go out in the village to grab supplies. Forgot to get supplies from the village from my parents' house. People were gone. Some was still left behind, but quite a few was gone. So the preparation of what I saw was preparation of praying, actually hearing to the request to evacuate. Because like you said, all these years, we don't evacuate. We see coming. We're not going anywhere. Many people left. I did survey. I saw a lot of sandbags in front of people's doors on Wednesday. So to me, we did a great job in preparing. Even myself, I took the time out to what I believe secure my house, but I still got flooding. And it is what it is. When you're about around a pool, a pond and a pool, you're gonna get it. So a lot of preparation went in, but some people just got impacted by it.
Yes, a lot of people was impacted by the storm. It was just unbelievable. I jumped on a couple other people's lives and shows the last few days that are not in the Tampa Bay area. They're in other states, and they were saying that it was not what they said it was, and I had to stand um, my ground to say it was devastating. We
Yes.
have never seen such
Never.
in the Tampa Bay area. Never.
But they were the newscasters, the forecasters were saying that.
They
Correct.
weren't keeping it real.
Correct.
They just weren't keeping it real, right?
Correct.
But I think that a lot of people evacuated because they saw the destruction from Helene.
Exactly.
With the
Correct.
Helene storm, they were saying that. They were like, this is something we've never seen with the Helene
Correct.
storm. And that, I believe, that made a believer up out of a lot of people.
Yes.
So that's where these evacuations really, I think, stem from. Like when we talk about people never evacuating, people who had never evacuated before, they saw what Helene did. And then they were saying at the beginning of this storm, At the beginning of Milton, they were saying, "Oh, this one's gonna be twice as bad." Then they started watering it down after the fact.
Uh-huh.
That's what I experienced. But I think when we talk about just people moving differently these days, they have more access to more information. Because I hear y'all saying y'all were watching Dennis Phillips. I went and found a guy on YouTube. I don't know where he got his meteorology degree from, but this boy had, and he was a young man. It's Velocity Max or something like that. This boy had like 5 or 6 screens up on his YouTube, right? Live. He was live for like 6 hours, and people were able to ask him questions. So that's what I like. He was very interactive. They were like, "What about Vero Beach? What about this?" And he was able to give them informed information. You understand? So I think that was another thing that was really good. And he had a screen of the traffic. He was showing that, hey, the highways are clogged. Y'all got to figure it out. So he was doing all this other stuff too to help people. Um, for me, the Ring app was tremendous for me. Like they were talking about um everything on the Ring app. And even right now, people are literally on that Ring app communicating, saying, "I just got my lights. I'm still looking for gas. Is there gas over here?" You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So the community, when you talk about the community, that like I saw people pulling together, and people are
Yeah,
continuing to pull together. I sent the generator to my sister's house. She went to an Airbnb in Orlando, so I got that generator and sent it over to Wayne's sister's house. We really this I think kind of brought the best out of a lot of people.
I
You
agree.
know,
I
it
agree.
brought the best out of people.
And that was my biggest prayer when I was walking and praying, and that not only God protect us and everything, but bring the people together to help one another, because there's so many people out there that don't have help even before a storm, right? And then you have the handicapped, you have the elderly, you have all these factors that are in there, and that was one of my biggest concern.
Yeah.
What about those that can't help themselves? That was a big concern. Now, Candid, if I'm going too far, you haven't asked about the aftermath, and if I need to table it, I can. But I can say right now, I saw a lot of more togetherness, even more so afterwards. You follow
Yeah.
me? It
Yeah.
reminded me when we had 9/11. I'm being honest. It
Yeah.
reminded me of the 9/11, where people started coming together to help other people.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
for sure. And even when you talk about the people who couldn't help themselves and the elderly, also the children that even don't even know that they should be helping.
yeah.
It's like, "Hey, let's go. You see what's happening right now? Let's go." Because when I went live, and then I posted a reel of over there off of River Hills, this one
Mhm.
girl was like, "I live on that corner. That's my house on the corner." And I said, "Yeah, my dad lives up River Highlands." And she said, "Yeah, they came and cut my trees." My son was out there with my dad, my 80-year-old dad and my 30-year-old son. And I didn't even know it. They just did what they had to do so their neighbors could get out of their homes. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing. Like, y'all know I'm big on, don't be waiting on other people to help us. I
Exactly.
saw us come together as a community and start cutting them trees up. Because y'all know them folks ain't coming down our streets.
No.
We last on the list. But
Listen, in
we've been
Progress
out here
Village,
cutting these
we
trees out
so
our own
last.
streets.
We still have
Yeah.
trees down. They finally got a couple of them down, and we're not even talking about personal. When I say personal, trees that land in the yards. We're talking about those that are on the roads, on the sidewalks, what have you. Granted, I understand that it's a lot going on, but why when it comes to health, safety, live wires,
Yeah.
we still, as of yesterday, when I went yesterday, because I didn't go yesterday, I went out just to greet my family at the house because they didn't have lights, nobody was there, but they, how
Right.
we are, we got to go look at the house for ourselves, right? I told them it was fine, I told them I went by there, but they had to go in, those that live in it had to go and touch it. How old folks are.
Yeah.
They had to be in there so they could pull out a grill and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I made my circle, I still see live wires.
Yeah. I was in Suffolk Springs checking on my son's house and his dad's house, and there was a huge. The whole thing was down, not just one or two wires.
Mm-hmm.
That huge wire was down, and the police officer, which is one of the things that's frustrating me, he was sitting on that corner in his car. And I literally had to yell out the window because they're not outside patrolling. They're just sitting in their cars on their cell phones. And I had to yell out the window, can I drive across this wire? And the neighbor, one of the guys was in his yard cleaning up. And he's like, yeah, they've been driving over it all morning. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
why isn't this officer, he sees me
Wow.
sitting, he's not even communicating with me
Wow.
if it's safe or not. All the lights are out, all the traffic lights are out. Hillsborough 22nd, there's a police officer sitting in the lane, the turning lane, with his lights on. He's not directing traffic. I guess he'll get out his car when someone has a head-on collision. They're just
I don't
sitting.
understand.
And Ishalina, with that, I've seen all over Facebook with the traffic signals, the traffic lights, having to
Four-way.
use those lights as a four-way stop, and
Yeah.
people anxious. People are mentally stressed out, truth be told,
Yeah.
because we've been at it ever since the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So all of that, I just cannot imagine that they're just sitting in the car.
They are
Yes, they
sitting
are.
in I have not seen not one officer out doing his little thing.
And
Not one.
I'm on the east side, and I haven't seen anything either. Like on the Brandon, from Tipper Terrace up 301 all the way to Progress Village. No lights are on. No lights are working. Nobody's there. Nobody's there. Nobody's there. And it's a lot of traffic. That was last night. I haven't gone out today, but last night when I was coming back into the same thing. I mean, I don't want to beat anyone down, any organization or unit.
But it's disappointing.
But it's what it is.
It's disappointing.
It's disappointing. I tell you what was disappointing for me with an officer. Very disappointing. So when I went to Progress Village the morning after, we have a severe flood issue. Everybody knows that. And one of the major corners, when the people go through the boulevard, which is a major street going through the village, separates us, it flushes into those people's homes and floods it even more. It just flooded them. So I'm there.
Oh, because they're driving through. So they should block the street off.
Yes. I tried to get the street blocked off, never got it. Okay. That's okay. We're calm. Because we're going to help ourselves too, like you said. I stood there until one of the owners came back to the house to take my spot. And what disappointed me in the police officer, it wasn't that they didn't come and block me, which that's what I asked for. Okay, I'm almost all right with that. But what bothers me is when one of you come through in your black vehicle, and I know it's because you got lights. I'm standing in the road in the median doing this to everybody. Slow down and doing like this. Thank you. I'm doing it all.
Yeah.
That man did not, when I say did not slow down, slashed me. I'm serious. And there were cars right before him that were going slow. So when he came through and I'm doing this, I actually stood in the road and he swerved around me a little bit and went fast.
Oh, wow.
I tried my best to get a picture because he couldn't only get so far because he had to stop. But I couldn't get a good picture of that because I still was trying to do traffic because I definitely would have reported him.
But you got the time and location. They got his GPS. They can find who that was.
Thank you.
That was a sheriff. It was a sheriff.
I don't know. It was a black car. It ended up being two. Later on, a black truck or there was a lot of cars, a black vehicle, sometimes SUV. And how I knew it was, it had to be sheriff on that side of town.
Well, that's even better because they don't have that many black SUVs. They can find out who that was.
Okay, and then another one came, but that one was slow. You know, it did what we asked when I was telling them to slow down.
Yeah.
That first one, no ma'am, no ma'am.
That is
and that bothered me.
What are we hearing about the school closures that are going to continue to close? I'm sure into Monday.
So there was no school Monday anyways. That was a non-student day for report card preparation. But looking at the condition and the state of the roads and stuff like that, I don't see how we can go back to school even Tuesday or Wednesday, because you still have kids in shelters. I had a parent, I checked on some of my students, and I checked on one parent yesterday and her kids, and she said they're still in a shelter at the casino. I didn't know the casino had a shelter.
Yes.
She's sheltered in place at the casino. She's still there because she didn't have lights. I think her lights came back on this morning. But if you didn't have lights until today and you got flooding on top of that, now plus the schools don't have lights, so all their food is spoiled. They got to go clean that up. They got to get new food delivered so they can feed the kids breakfast whenever they do get back. So I don't see school coming back in immediately, even after Monday, because there's too much to deal with. Sly alone has trees down where the buses can't even come out of there that use that as a parking space. There's huge trees down right in front of buses. And then Lato, where they're gonna send the kids at Lato? They're gonna leave them home, I guess, until they figure out where to send them, because Lato is like flooded. So I don't even think that the damage is probably very severe, and they got to send cleanup crews, because after the water leaves, now you got to deal with mold and all that, so I
What a mess.
don't know what the district, they need to do a press conference or something to let us know, because we need to know. And I'm a part of the district because I go by their calendar. Even though we're private, I use the district's calendar. I use their protocols because I know they know when it comes to safety. When it comes to safety, they kind of know. And, academically, that's different. But I trust them when it comes to safety. And we're all on a federal contract to have the children in school a certain amount of days. So I deal with their calendar. So what they did for the last hurricane days, they they took the half days away and made them whole days, right? But that was only 3 days. That was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Helene. This is a whole week. I don't know if they're going to do that again or they're going to add days to the end of the year. But we'll see what happens. But I go with them because they're under the same federal contract I'm under, because I receive federal funding. So we'll see what happens with that. But the kids will make up the days some kind of way. So they'll catch up with the curriculum, hopefully. I can only speak for Lena Bean Academy.
We know they will.
Yeah.
We know they will. Because they're already ahead of it anyway. So
right.
They just need to get back where they were. Get more ahead. Get back ahead. I did get a text from, I don't know who it was, not text, but somebody responded on Facebook. She was educated. She said she was retired, but she's back into school, so I don't know what she's doing in the school system. And she was asking about Progress Village, and she saw some postings. I know they worked up until Wednesday afternoon in fixing that school. I was told that they have roofing issues. I bring that up because I don't know if they finished, and I'm quite sure Progress Village, Little Magnet, it's not the only one that's had roofing issues. Or they got new schools that they have roof issues because of the storm.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm sure that is an impact too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Schools in Progress Village area are down south of Progress Village that was evacuation zones. I mean, shelter places.
Yeah, so that wasn't a shelter. They weren't a shelter, but they were working on their roof. Apparently, I don't know when it started, but when I did my walking and praying, and I'm like, what are they doing working? Tuesday. What are they doing working? It's a storm out there. And the neighbors told me they had roof issues. Helene. That's when they saw their roof issue. So they were trying to correct their roof issue. I don't know if they totally fixed their roof issue or not, but they were back out there on Wednesday as well. But what I saw when I went through Wednesday was more, they were doing tarping a lot of supplies that was on the ground. So chances are they didn't complete, and maybe or maybe not, whatever they were working on could have been damaged again.
I'm almost certain it was damaged because I mean roofs that have been attached were damaged. I
Ah,
know there's
So,
one home somebody told me at least one of their friends their whole roof blew off their house in Riverview.
oh wow.
so
Yeah.
Tawanda, are any of the schools in that area or south still have people in it sheltered in place?
No, we had to go to Brandon. Um, Zone B
Okay.
went to Brandon. That's our focus area. So
Oh.
none of the schools, Spoto, I can't, Junta, Parkers Village, Billy Magnet, Lamb, and there's another one I can't think of right now. That those schools are not shelters. They're not
They
shelters.
didn't use them as
Okay.
shelters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now they did later. I can't remember everything I posted because so much was coming through. Brandon did fill up. And then on Wednesday, I want to say Tuesday afternoon, if not Wednesday morning, I remember seeing the post and I reposted it. I forwarded the post that they opened up more shelters. I think one of them was somewhat near Progress Village, somewhat, but it was none of the ones that attached to Progress Village.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, uh, gas. I did talk to Brother Jarvis on yesterday, and he was out for quite some time trying to find gas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So after your governor, y'all governor said we ain't running out of gas. Now I talked to
Mhm.
someone yesterday that saw something because she's all on Instagram, TikTok, she's all over the place, and she said that there are gas trucks at the ports that they're not letting come out
Correct.
and put gas in these gas stations. That's what I
Right.
heard.
And
I heard
okay.
something.
And I
I heard the beginning
if I
part of
may,
what you said.
if I
Have
may,
some.
Tawanda, if I may, I did hear, and I know I'm not going to get it word for word, but the mayor, uh, Jane Castor, did say that they were there at the ports, but the streets have to be cleared. The streets have to be cleared for them to get to the pumps that they need, the gas stations. So I think that was one of the issues is clearing the streets. They have to be
Uh,
cleared. The wires have to be off the street. They have to be cleared to get to those points.
there are gas. There are trucks that are going to stations as well. And what I'm hearing, at least in Dade City, yeah, Dade City area, one of my friends is out there, and she said they're only letting them get half a tank of gas.
Wow.
Yeah,
They're rationing
yeah,
it out.
I think that's fair. Because
yeah. I think
especially in a
that's fair.
small community like that. Yeah.
I
Correct.
just feel like for me, and I know everybody has different circumstances, but I filled my tank up before the storm
Yeah.
and I didn't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere until everything
Yeah.
gets back right because I
Yeah,
don't want to be in that situation.
And you know
Now,
what?
yeah.
I agree with you, and I apologize for cutting you off, but I had that same feeling when I went to the village yesterday. And I'm like, because I didn't know it's supposed to be a shortage because I was too busy cleaning, not looking at anything. And I go up 301 at the racetrack. I'm like, what are these people doing? They were in line from the racetrack all the way up to the I-4 because there's a hump right there. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. They should
yeah,
have gotten their gas before. That's what I said. I kept going
yeah.
down the road. Then I came to Wawa on the cars on 301. And this is when I got confused. I saw cars parked. As I'm approaching, they're parked, but they look empty. I see people walking. Like, what are they doing? And this me, what are they doing? I always say,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Then I keep going. And then when I get to Wawa entrance, I look over. I can see where there's a police officer. He's standing. It's blocked off. And then I can see people in line. What are they doing? I was just so lost. But guess what happened? By the time I made it to my parents' house, sitting there, catching up on Facebook and all these texts,
Yeah.
somebody had text about they had, I think it was Lowe's or somebody had generators. We figured it out. Because I did see people, somebody with a can. A lot of the people were in line to get for their generators. They
If
needed gas or
right,
generators.
I
So there's some
here's
car
what I
people there. But there was a
Listen,
lot of people with generators, getting gas with generators.
if people don't go out and grab a generator after this situation, I don't know what else to say. And people are saying, well, everybody can't afford a generator, but you can come together as a family. The same way you come together for Thanksgiving, you can come together as a family and make sure your family has a generator at a family home.
Yeah.
And y'all hunker down together. But y'all can have my generator because I won't be here next time.
Yeah. Ooh, that wind. That wind.
I won't
That
be here
wind.
next time.
That wind. That wind had me sitting on my steps. I refused to be in the room in my bedroom. I refused.
Yeah.
And I made my last trip to the downstairs. When the water started coming in, I couldn't figure it out. I said, just get wet, baby, get wet. I'm
Were
not
you
coming
there
back
by
down here again.
yourself?
Yes.
Don't do that ever again. Don't do that ever again.
That's what my family said, but guess what?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
No. Listen. Let me tell you something. Keela, listen. Keela, it's the same way. I texted her. I said, where are you? I don't want you alone because she likes to be in her house, in her little thinking space. And her brother had already said, get out. Get out. You can't be by yourself. Guess what? She went over to her son's house, right? Came home to the sunshine, looking up at a tree in the sky in her living room. So what if she would have been there by herself?
I understand, but I'm gonna be honest. I did have a place to go and change my mind.
You have to go.
My family was concerned, and I told them that's okay. I'm trusting God on this one.
No,
I knew it was bad.
You
I knew
have
it was
to
bad,
go.
but I was all right.
Don't do that again. Don't do that again.
I was all right.
Let me tell you
what I also did before.
What?
And there's no prediction that it would have or not. I did check trees around my house. Now that
Don't
I did.
be by yourself.
I know anything could have flown. I know a roof could have come. I know all those things could happen.
But listen,
for me, for this time, that's what I needed.
Wanda, listen. You could have had a panic attack, a heart attack, anything from being afraid.
There's nothing they could have done. Nothing they could have done.
But
I hear you, and I respect it.
You could have fell out in the water.
I was upstairs. That's the other thing. I'm
talking about what if you would have fainted and rolled down the stairs?
Candy getter.
Don't do that no more. I think it's definitely not a good idea for anyone to be alone in a storm.
And normally I wouldn't have. I've always moved. This particular time, I could, for personal reasons, I could not.
What is it, like 600 people that were still unaccounted for in North Carolina?
I understand. Even if I would have been, it would have been just me and not 6 of us. You follow me? In all seriousness, normally I'm not doing it by myself. Normally I don't. They make me move. But this time I told them, I hear you all, but this time I have to be alone. I can't tell you why.
How's your car? Was your car in a flood flood area?
It got flooded. It didn't get flooded totally. I was told to feel behind my pedals up. It goes up, and that would tell me how high it got. So and I was also told by a gentleman, if you did that, it'll tell you whether anything got wet underneath your
where the brain and stuff is at.
Yes, so the brains did not get wet.
Thank God.
I had to have about this much because I left a pair of shoes, flat shoes, and all of the flat shoe was wet. So I had to get this much of water in my car, in the front and the back.
Have you all heard any of the price gouging issues? I do know that before the storm, I did talk to Elvis, and he had gotten a hotel, and it was very expensive, and he did seek out trying to get some information to let the Attorney General and others know of the price gouging.
Well, I don't know if they would consider that price gouging because hotel prices go up based on events, and they might consider that an event. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they go up based on events. I'm just saying, like, when I think about legal aspects, they may say, oh, this was an event. Because the hotel
Well,
prices go up based on the demand. Like when there's a
it's Shalina.
FAMU game, $100 room is gonna be $500 in Tallahassee.
It's Shal-
That's
it's
technical.
Shalina.
Go ahead, Molly.
It's Shalina. The Attorney General came on and
Uh-huh.
mentioned about hotels taking advantage of people doing a devastation, doing a storm.
Right.
They cannot do that.
Ethically, yeah, ethically.
Correct. And if you
Right.
are reporting that to the Attorney General, they will be fined. It is
Oh, well,
not
that's
an
good.
event. It is
That's
not an
good.
event. You can't do that. No different than the corner stores that are
Mm-hmm.
for the propane paint
What they
containers.
doing?
They were doubling and tripling the price for propane. You
Wow.
cannot do that.
Wow.
Wow.
You just can't do that.
That's ugly. That's
Wow.
ugly.
Wow.
So if
That's
you
ugly.
see price gouging at any of the stores, the gas stations, we have a number of locations that are also giving out food for first responders. There's a lot of
Yeah.
information that has been coming in. I know City of Tampa, I get their emails. Commissioner Myers has been sending me
Good.
an email almost every day, several times a day. So they have really been trying to inform our community of what's going on. And also across the bridge, St. Pete and Clearwater, they have really been trying to inform our community the best that they can. Because so many people, you have to remember this, there's so many people that does not have power.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have power. They're trying to keep their phones charged up, if they can even use their car to do it, because the cars was flooded out.
Yep. Yeah, I saw a lot, and I commend, to me, the first responders are not only those that we see, it's the ones that we don't see as well, you know. We know the firefighters, we know the hospitals, all these different people, but there are many in the background that are working hours on hours, monitoring things, making sure things are running. We don't talk about the city workers other than those that are picking up debris or something like that, sheriff's office, something like that. There are some that are working. They have their command center throughout the hurricane where they don't get to leave, but nobody talks about them.
Right.
A lot of people don't get to see their families.
Yeah, like the ones that were at the Tropicana field, and then the whole roof blew off of that. It's like, that was crazy.
I don't know
too.
if you all saw, I'm not sure if you all saw the amphitheater.
No.
What happened?
Yeah, the whole roof as well at the amphitheater.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Did you? I sent you the picture of the road out there in Wesley Chapel somewhere. The road it was like a sinkhole. The road just got washed away.
Oh my.
A street just washed away. And I know that's not the only one. That was just one that they sent me. That was crazy.
I know outside of my place heading towards, because I've been going, they won't let us come through. So it's underwater. I don't know about today, but it's been underwater so bad that they had to block off from Harney all the way up to 78th Street. You can turn on 78 to go down 78, but they won't let you come from 78 to go to Harney because it's a big stretch, a long stretch of not a man-made pond, but I call it Milton-made pond. Milton-made pond. Like right now, I got a little pond. Ducks are just having a great time outside the back of my place. Normally, they're just walking, but they're having a great time because it's a pond.
Here's what I think for me, when they talk about my people perish for the lack of knowledge, I just really feel like the same way we're fussing about not having financial literacy in the schools, they need to have some hurricane preparedness built into the science curriculum for the state of Florida or something. Because somebody got to know. Because I was telling Candy, I got sandbags. I didn't know how to use them. I thought you just threw the things up against the doors.
I did too. My sister had
But I never thought that I would need a lesson on how to use sandbags. And Candy's like, no, you got to put something behind it, like a trash bag, a tarp or something, and then pile the sandbags up. Didn't know that. Did not know that. But I'm riding around seeing it now after the fact where I got 6 sandbags on one of my doors. But and it wasn't a flooding situation for me with the water coming in my house. It was more so the winds were so strong that it was blowing the rain up under my door.
Yeah.
Even with the sandbags.
Wow.
I don't flood.
Yeah.
But because the wind was so strong, it was blowing the sandbags under my door.
Wow.
And even for me, when we talk about getting gas ahead of time, I didn't even know that was that important until Helene came through. We went up to Atlanta, and on the way back, we had to stop in a hotel. So at the hotel were all of these Hurricane Helene victims from Georgia, right? Off of 75. And the lady was saying that she had to drive an hour and a half to get cell service to call somebody.
Wow.
So she said, thank God I had gas. And then she said she went to get gas and there was a line. And here we are this week with a line. She said there was a line for gas. The gas stations were running out of gas. And that's when, because you know they say life teaches you, right? Experience is the best teacher. Thank God I had that conversation with that lady last week, because I would have never. So as soon as the school said they were closing, I texted all my kids. I said, go fill your tanks up. Get gas now.
The gas has always been number one on the list. Is fill gas.
I never did it until I talked to that lady.
They talk about this every storm. It is on our water bill. In the state of Florida, a month before June 1, it is all talked about. Gas runs out almost every single time that there's a storm that's going to come. So I am just hopeful that people see it now.
Yes.
And also, if we wouldn't have had Helene, people wouldn't have paid attention the way that they did for this storm.
Yes.
All the areas that would not normally flood, they flooded because of a number of reasons. We also still have the rivers that are still rising. The Alafaya, the Cypress, the Hillsborough River, they are still rising.
Are you serious?
Yes, University of South Florida area, Fletcher, Fowler area. Those people, that water was up 5-6 feet.
Yeah, they have pontoon boats out there.
Pontoon boats out.
Right down south.
Yes, getting people, rescuing people out of the water. It was just amazing, just devastating for the entire Tampa Bay area.
We had that experience too, Kate. Yeah. So while I was on the grounds in the village, I got a call from a young lady. She had the number on her phone. She said, my grandma can't get out. She says, and I knew I had asked about her before, and they said, older people don't want to leave. And so the son couldn't convince her. So he went to his mom and he stayed there. And so what I learned when I made it down there, they had already rescued a few people because they got, so let me back up. Progress Village did not get impacted by Helene, believe it or not. It was the 2 heavy storms with no name a couple of weeks prior to it, where they were up to water at least about 2 feet or so, and into the homes. So we knew this one, it was going to be real bad. So this young lady, she was not in that, she was a little further down. I say young lady, but Miss Cat is in her 80s, I think she's about 83. It got to a point she needed to come out. because the water had blocked them in. There is no electricity. They still don't have electricity as of this morning. And so I ended up calling, I did call Commissioner Myers. She was prepping for a conference call. What do you call it? Not a conference call, but is that right? Did I call the right name? You know what I'm talking about when they got press call.
Yeah.
Press release or whatever, press call. And so, because she was busy with that, I went to my next step because I always believe in keeping things. And as a matter of fact, I learned this through State Rep Hart. She trained me on this. And when you stay local, and if you can't get local, then you go to the next step. And so that's when I called State Rep Michelle. And she was able to get a sheriff office out there within 15 minutes. And not only to get that family, there's a family across the street, a nonprofit, where they have people that have, I think they're homeless. There's something, I don't know what that nonprofit had to get them. Then they had to go back down again and get some more people. So quite a few. Not only did the fire department come with their boat, there was the military. They came down too. So I didn't know it takes all that, but I understand why. And they asked a series of questions I learned. So going back to what you said, Isolina, certain things we just don't know. If we don't know, we don't know. We learn, y'all.
Yeah.
I learned that when they do come, they want to know the condition of the person. Is anybody hurt? I can remember that was one of the main questions. Anybody hurt?
Yeah, is it a
Anybody
medical
walk
need?
a leak or something? They ask a few questions, so when they go down, they're prepared.
Yeah. But I won't stop slipping no more.
Tawanda, how does the areas in Temple Terrace looking like 56 and Bush, 56
I have no clue.
and Fowler?
I have not gone there. Let me be honest. Let me tell you why I haven't gone there. Because I'm saving my gas.
Hold on. I can ask my
honest.
sister. Hold on. Mita.
Okay. I'm gonna
ask.
I haven't traveled, and I haven't gone on the Facebook page, like my community Facebook page, to see if they're talking about it. I would like to safely say, maybe not today, but I feel comfortable saying that I'm sure 56 and Bush was flooded because they were flooded with Helene. And I know they can fix it that fast. And plus, it's a storm. It doesn't get fixed, right? That's why I try to tell people this is unnatural. It's a natural act. So if you had problems because they had heavy rain, so I'm quite sure they got issues or had them at least.
Yeah, my sister went over there yesterday to drop her son off. They don't have power. There are some trees down, but there was no flooding. And she went like behind Publix, right there behind that Publix on Bush and 56 is where she was at.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw the Publix on Fowler and 56. They were limited with supplies on the shelf. I think Jarvis mentioned that to me. So I think trying to get the stores back, supplies back on the stores, is an issue. Ishalina, give me a little bit about when you toured some of East Tampa area, not too far from your house, because that was one of the things that alerted me as well.
Yeah. So I went to go check on my rental properties and stuff. And then my sister, all my family lives in East Tampa for the majority. And it was just crazy. Like trees were down on almost every street. And I really want to understand. I know God is faithful. But my daughter, she was like, Mommy, I think the trees blew away from the houses because the houses were breaking the wind or something like that. But it was just, to me, it was very interesting to see. I saw at least 50 like large trees blocking streets, right? But I only saw like 2 or 3 trees that actually fell on houses.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very, very that, I was like, oh my God, look at this. And then maybe now in that apartment complex across from Middleton, there's some huge trees over there, and I saw them laying on top of them people's cars.
Wow.
And that was one of the things, because like we learn as we go, right? So a storm came through maybe 2 years ago, and it fell on the front of my dad's truck. So from there on, my brain, from there, that point on, my brain is programmed. Don't park on the trees. Take your cars away from the trees.
Yeah.
So the things that I learned, I try to share with, I always do that. Try to share with everybody on my lives. So to see all of these cars under these trees, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the cars are done. And of course, most people in our neighborhood, when we talk about resources and income, they can't afford full coverage insurance.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother situation that we're having to deal with after the storm, that these people have lost mobility. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is like, oh my God, it's just so many moving parts to what we're experiencing right now. So many moving parts. But trees were down on every street around here. And on River Hills, I think those are probably some of the oldest trees in the city.
Mm-hmm.
All those trees were down. I'm talking about, it looked like Jurassic Park over there.
Wow.
And the elderly people were literally climbing across the trees.
Wow.
One of my parents, I rode by her house to check on her. She lives like a block or two from Candy. Her neighbor had to come. The tree fell literally in her front door. It missed her house by inches, but she could not get out of her front door. Her neighbor had to come and cut one gap out of the tree because it was so big, just so she could get out of her house.
Wow.
So it's a lot. But for me, the next in the hood, the pawn shop was open the very next day.
I'm done. I'm
I hope you giving away generators, because I know you got some in there. Can you believe it?
Yes, we can believe
The
it.
pawn shop was open the very next day.
That's an entrepreneur. That's an entrepreneur.
Hey, I think that was cultural, because Jackson's store was not open. They're entrepreneurs too, but they like, child, please.
All right, make my money. Well, I saw what you saw. I saw both sides. In Progress Village, on all the trees that were down, there was only one tree that fell towards a house. Its branches hit two houses, but it was just a corner. I went back the next day, yesterday. They had cut down the tree, and you can see the little damage it did on the corner of those houses. Didn't hit the roof and water. Because I said, y'all, this is okay. They say, yeah, just that little piece you see. They were still, because they were outside, because they had no lights. And so that was Progress Village.
Yeah.
We had some that blocked some of the roads that they couldn't get down. But then today, just like I said earlier, I believe I mentioned before we went live, I came through my complex yesterday for the first time. I got some pictures I will post on here. I can look right now at across the pool to a house. The entire gable, the inside, the middle piece of the gable, that A-frame looking thing, I can see through it.
Oh my!
It's gone. It's
Oh
gone,
man!
and the trees on top of it. I have the pictures I saw walking, and obviously we got very old trees. Pictures of one car. One of the neighbors said they lost everything. He said, "You see that car right there?" I said, "Yes." This is a tree. He says, "I normally park right next to it, but our neighbors left, and I put my car where they normally park."
Yes.
That's how my car got missed.
Yes.
Then another neighbor was telling me how one had fallen. The car in the middle, and then the tree on the other side. The tree pieces was on both sides of the car. The car didn't get hit.
Let me tell you something. You know, you're supposed to get permits and all that to cut trees down.
Yeah, not today.
That's what I said. Y'all better take advantage of this opportunity. Don't get them trees out to y'all.
Yes. I said the same thing.
Milton cut them down.
Yeah.
My neighbors were over there cutting branches yesterday that had fallen and they were dangling. I said, cut the whole damn tree down.
Cut it down.
It's not so, and it's a little ugly tree. You know, it's. I said, cut the tree down.
Yeah. I walked in, so the complex I live in, it's like three of us. When I say three of
Yeah,
us, it's three complexes, but we're all one. When I
yeah.
walked into the newer one, now they didn't do well at all. I saw where the sidewalk was pulled up. When the tree fell, it pulled up the slab of the sidewalk. It's sticking up. House inside somebody's
Mm.
the tree falls with one huge branch inside the people's window.
Yeah.
The roof all is crashed. I saw at least four of them over there. They didn't do well at all. Over here
One
didn't do
of,
well at all.
one of the trees that I passed by over by the school, the roots were so big that the whole front yard was pulled up. The roots
Oh,
were the whole
wow.
front yard. Across the whole front yard was the tree roots.
Oh,
Like the
wow.
whole front yard was peeled back because that was all tree roots. I was like, oh my, like, I, I, listen, next time y'all won't be interviewing me, baby, because I won't be. We
You'll
won't be
be
having this
interviewing how you ran
conversation.
away.
Yes,
Are
I'll be
there
like, y'all right?
are there any are there any restaurants that you all know that are still open? I did see
They're
that there's
all
the
back
number
open
of
today.
okay, yeah, there's a number of restaurants that are making sure that our first responders are being able to eat in that 7th and Grove. I know
Yeah,
that if you go down to Al's Finger Licking Good Soul Food, Jackie is
yeah,
seeing
they
about
said
some
all the
people.
restaurants on 7th Avenue.
They are making sure that they are taking care of definitely our first responders because they're not able to get back home
Home, yeah.
to eat. I do probably have stations for them to go, go and get something to eat. There's a number of comfort stations that are open. I did see another one that opened that was hold on one second. That was Temple Terrace. Temple Terrace did finally open something there for that area because Temple Terrace is massive with people. So that station is open. I know that there's a couple down south that are open, comfort station. A
Yeah.
number of them that you get a little shower. You have charging stations as well. A number of them, I know the one in Temple Terrace, they're giving out snacks, light refreshments, and water. So those little comfort stations definitely are coming in handy for those people that their power is still off and their water is still off. I know that there's a couple of the comfort stations that they can do some light laundry as well. So I
People
want to
lost
make
water too. I didn't
sure
know
that
they lost water.
yeah, a
The
number
pressure.
of locations
Oh,
still do not have water that's on, so they can go
wow.
and get a shower. And if the lights are off, they can get a warm shower.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I did hear someone say that the pressure, somebody that was more in Sanson Park or somewhere on this side of town or that side of town, where they were saying the pressure, they had water, but it's very little water because we assuming it's because of the pressure, lack of pressure. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some water issues.
Yeah. I know Carrollwood is still I think we're good over here in East Tampa. I never lost lights or internet. I think because my power is underground now. They just put a new pole out there, that cement looking metal thing, like
Mm-hmm.
last year. But I know that Middleton has power now. The school has their power back on. So it's coming back on. But Carrollwood, I just checked on family in Carrollwood, they still don't have lights.
Wow.
So and that little thing they sent out was saying Wednesday and Thursday.
I saw that. But
So that's
although
the
they say that, I see things coming up because they say, yeah, we were Thursday. Hillsborough was Thursday, but
yeah.
Parkers Village has started getting some lights
Yeah,
in,
I
in
think that's
text this
worst
morning.
case scenario. But
Yeah.
even with that situation, when we talk about kids coming back to school, it's like those things have to go together. Everybody got to be able to have lights and stuff to come back. So,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. Well, I think the city is doing the best that they can with the situation that we have not been in. So I just want to still applaud the city of Tampa, our county, our representative, and I just do not want to leave out the governor as well. So and FEMA coming in, and all of the other agencies that are coming in our city, our surrounding areas, definitely the people down in Siesta Key, Sarasota, and Bradenton area as
Yeah.
well. This was such a wide storm. Also, the tornado that hit, those tornadoes started coming 1-2 o'clock,
Yeah.
hours before the storm
Yep.
hit land
Yep.
and killed people. So
Yeah.
this was definitely it will be definitely one for me to remember the rest of my days on life. So
Yeah.
it was just so many. So I just want to definitely make sure that we applaud also the agencies that has been keeping us abreast.
Oh, we lost Candy.
Yeah, I see that. I didn't know you could lose the host.
The host, and we're still here. Okay, and we're still here.
Yeah, that's
And strong.
interesting.
That's part of Tampa, right? Tampa strong,
Yeah, right.
strong.
There
That's
she go.
oh man.
Oh,
It,
she's there she is. It was
With
buffering.
all the press conferences, um, Ishalina, do you have two phones on?
I do, but my volume is not on
Okay,
at
because
all.
I just got a message from Kamitra saying that that's probably where our feedback is coming from.
Yeah, but it's no volume on it at all.
Okay,
It's
okay,
muted
all right. So
because I'm reading the comments.
that's what say it again.
I'm reading the comments.
I'm
That's what
sorry.
I'm doing on the other.
Okay, yeah, she said that the feedback was probably coming. But I definitely want to make sure that we say that, because if it wasn't for our city government, our county government, our state government, I just don't know where we would be. And I think that they're working as quickly, as fast as they can. I do think that we're going to have to deal with debris for quite some time. I remember a couple years back when we had a storm, the debris stayed out for months. It stayed out
Yeah,
for months.
but
And this
that's the
is
other
way,
thing that I don't.
let me finish. And this is way more than we have ever experienced. At least I can say that. So I think that storm, that debris is going to be out a little longer than we can imagine.
But that's what the governor was frustrated about. He's like, why aren't y'all working around the clock? And my thing is, because my brother is a contractor. We have a bucket truck in Jacksonville. He's trying to bring it down right now to help out. But the city is not soliciting tree trimmers and people that can help with this stuff. They bringing people in. There's people from North Carolina here. Make it make sense, because I have my niece's, her boyfriend is working in Bradenton right now. He came all the way from Naples to work with people from North Carolina to clean up the mess. It's like, why
Okay,
y'all not reaching out to the people right here in the city to help?
that will, and I'm not sure, but I would think that would have to go back to our elected officials,
Right.
making sure in the future, and we don't know if that's not going to happen in the next week or two, well, because they are going to definitely see that they're not able to handle it all.
No.
I do think something is going to happen where they're going to see that they're going to have to use local people to get off, because we have lawn care service people
That is
throughout
correct.
because of our growing grass and trees
Yes.
everywhere.
And they have the same equipment as these people from out of town. Because like I
Correct.
deal with this. Like I was in business with a storm chaser. And all you do is they tell you where to go dump and they give you a ticket to so you can get paid on the other end every time you bring a load in.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
what I'm
it's
saying.
not complicated.
Yes, I think that we're at the beginning of it,
Go look.
and see some changes, I'm sure, because they're not going to be able to do it themselves. They're just not. It's just not, and we've seen that in the past. So we just have to wait that out until all those people are able to come on board to help out with, because they're not going to be able to do it.
Well, Twanda, if you can reach out to Commissioner Gwen and see like if she can help us figure out how to get these people involved and get them contracted to come in and help.
Okay.
That would be
Okay.
a great thing because they're like Reshay. We can name a million people that got lost. Even if they don't have active businesses, they have the equipment. I have a dump trailer. You understand what I'm saying? We got saws over here. Like we can get it. We have to come together to get this done.
Okay, I'll reach out to her. We
Yeah,
have
see
a
what they're
call
doing.
into her, but
And
not
I
for
think
that.
that's
but
the
okay.
thing where certain people are gatekeeping
Yeah.
as well. Because why would you be bringing people in from North Carolina?
Yeah.
And you know you
They
got people
always
right.
do.
That's not
It's
okay.
Shalina, it has always been that way, no matter what it is. That is how that works. But
Twanda,
as
tell
time
Gwen Myers we want that situation fixed.
Oh, I definitely will.
but as time go on, that they do bring the community, those people in. It happens all the time. It happens
I
all the
know.
time. Yeah. And also they will have the city workers. As time go on, more of the city workers will get involved and be a part of it. I remember that the year when all of the debris was still out, Paul Whaley works in one department, but they had him as well getting up the debris. So it's going to be fine, and I think everybody's going to make money.
Well, for me, it's not even about making money because for me, it's also about, their work ethics, and I ain't trying to slap nobody under no bus, but considering that we see 10 people standing on one corner holding up a sign with a city shirt on, like they're gonna need some help. They're gonna need some help. What?
Shalina, I'm gonna mute you because I want to say this. All I know is when men are working, when men are working, let me get you back on because I want to hear you laughing. When men are working, it's no different than watching them repair the interstate. If you have men, and I'm talking to the men that are working, it's going to take them days into days because it's going to be 20 of them looking at one limb. One going to be hitting the limb. One is going to be saw. It's going to take one to fill the saw up with gas. It's going to take one that want to spit on the saw because that's routine. Then it's going to be one that want to shake it up first. It's going to be one that's going to let me walk around and see how many limbs it is. Then it's going to be one that's going to want to measure the limb. He got a measuring tape in his pocket. If they had a crew of women that was cleaning up the Tampa Bay area, by next week it'll be done.
Because the babies got to go back to school.
That's right.
And the babies got to be safe. You forgot about the man that got to tell the story about the limb.
That part. They all got together. They all got together and
They-
solved this problem.
yeah.
The last
And
And
time
mind,
we
Lim
had a
moved over
limb
here.
down.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
mind you, they're all living at the hotel. They got to get to the hotel that evening where they gonna all sit in the lobby, and they gonna call and talk to their wives and girlfriends and tell them how wore out they are.
Yes. And you
they're working
forgot about
all
the
day
one that's
long.
just standing there pointing at the limb and where it should be cut at.
You always
The,
got a pointer.
the supervisor. That's the supervisor.
The supervisor. Yeah, that's a whole truth. It's no different than when you see them on the interstate. It's 1,700 of them round one hole.
Right. So that is really my concern about them getting some help in this city. Because, and I ain't just talking about the city, I'm talking about Americans as in general, the work ethics. It's like we gonna need some help getting this stuff
Yeah,
up around here.
yeah.
And I keep seeing people piling it up out there. And I'm like, that stuff finna be there for a long time.
Be there a while. Hey,
So,
hey, until we have a truck that says, "Ladies, we haul," or something like that. Yeah,
yes. So I might have to paint that. If we get that bucket truck down here, I'm gonna paint it pink.
there you go. We
Somebody
may
said
have
that
something.
Brandy said that your stars are not turned on. Did you turn them on?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, because I had Jake Sacramento earlier. He is the lead singer for Club Nouveau in Sacramento, California. He jumped on early and said, "How do I set stars?" So
Yeah.
I messaged him.
Oh, okay, good. Good morning, Gretchen. Gretchen said good morning.
Yeah. Any um any last remarks? I know we just gotta continue to be safe. I did see a lot of limbs down at your house. Have you guys gotten all that up?
At my house,
Uh-huh.
Wayne just got home last night.
Okay. Okay.
He was in New Orleans. So
Okay.
that's where I got, and I did park my car at the at the city building right there. So I got to go get that today. Today is the last day to get your cars out. As
Mhm.
far as last minute remarks for me, I will, if they say we're going to be a direct hit, I'm not staying here. I'm just, for me, when the mayor got on talking about evacuation is only for the flood zones, everybody else is running from wind. And like Swana was saying earlier, they really tried to downplay this storm. Like I, I will, and I had my uncles were calling from out of town, get out. And I didn't listen to what the younger uncle called. So I guess he called the older uncle and said, "Call her. She ain't listening." He's the retired military guy, so and he got the deep voice. So he's like, "Baby." I was like, "We ain't going." But now they ain't got to worry about me no more. I already told them that. I said, "Y'all just clear my room out. I'm coming. If my house blow down, I'll just stay in Alabama." Because it was a lesson learned, and I didn't experience nothing. I didn't experience anything other than my fruit trees blowing down, but they still rooted, so they still growing fruit. So we just gonna try to push them back up. But the coulda, shoulda, woulda for me. Like it's the coulda, shoulda, woulda. You ain't got to tell me twice. That what they say, shame on me, shame on
Once.
you, you fool me once. But if it twice, it's on me. This time it was on that mayor, because she said, "Don't go nowhere, we all right." The governor say, "Don't go nowhere, we got gas." Next time, it ain't gonna be on me. I'm gonna be out of here. That's what I got to say about
Yeah.
it. But I will continue to hold on, y'all. I just got a message from the school district about these schools. Hold on.
Now
Schools
I do.
and
I
the
will.
district offices will remain closed Monday, October 14th due to recovery. A following update regarding our reopening status for the remainder of the week will be made by noon on Monday. So they'll
Okay.
let us know by noon on Monday But right now, Monday school is it was gonna be closed anyway because it's the report card period. But the end of the grading period is what it's called. But for me, I know that I will do a better job being more intentional about educating my people, but I'll do more because I did not. So I'll do a better job with that next time. Because I trusted that lady. She said, "Don't move, don't go nowhere." I trusted her. I was literally packing up. My daughter was already in Tallahassee. She was there for the FSU game. Her boyfriend has a house there. So we were like, well, we'll just go up to Tallahassee. And then here she come in the press conference talking about only for the flood zones. We're only evacuating the flood zones. And here I go. Well, I'm in E. I'm in this. I'm in that. I ain't going. Yeah. It won't happen again.
Well, my
Yeah,
closing
yeah.
remark is that God is in control, and He guides where we are today and pulling us together. And this storm is one of the things that did that. It's pulling people together. It is my hope, my prayer, my desire that people will remain together. A part of my life that I was very disappointed in the United States of America was 9/11. We were kumbaya. We were together. We were together. A month afterwards, we were right back where we were before. So I hope that this experience has brought people together and that they will remain together as we keep going in life, because it's no different than COVID. COVID changed us and who we are and what the world looks like today and how we operate today, how we
Yeah.
function today. And I feel that this storm also, at least for Tampa Bay area, has made a strong impact on us on how we're moving forward.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, that my closing remark is that we stay together. I can't remember some of the old songs back in the day. Holding hands. I can't remember the song that we used to sing, but it is time to do that. Time to help your neighbor. I'm just about done with my house. I only have one neighbor for a short period of time, but once I can get this together, I'm going to go back. Who's got issues?
Yeah,
Even if it's nothing but 5 or 10 minutes or half an hour, whatever, just
yeah.
give.
But I
Just give.
also
Just give.
think that the banding together needs to be before the storm, the preparation for the storm as
Yeah.
well, because just talking to people and making sure they understand what that looks like. Like I said on my live the other day, I was asking a parent of like 6 kids, do you have non-perishable food items because you might be out of power for 3 to 5 days?
Mhm.
She said, what's that? What's that? And she has 5, 6 kids. So we
Wow.
have to make sure we're having these
Oh,
conversations ahead of time.
you're right.
Like I
Yeah.
said, the
Mhm.
group chats saying go get your gas now. For me, as soon as those schools close, I'm done. I'm prepared that day. I'm not waiting if they say, oh, it's coming in 3 days. As soon as I get a notice that the public schools are closed, something is real. Something is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because they know they're putting those kids' safety first. So as soon as I get that text or that call from that public school, that's when I'm just like, okay, let me, and I'm gonna have everything I need that day, and I'm gonna start having those conversations with family members. And again, when we talk about the elderly, we have to include these young adults because they're disabled on another level. They're disabled mentally. Their mindsets.
Mhm.
They're stuck on the Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. They're not paying attention to what's happening right in front of them. So we have to help them too. We have to have those
Mhm.
conversations with them. We can't I think that they're ready now because they've seen it with their own eyes.
Mhm.
Because they think they're invincible. They don't think these things can happen unless they experience it. So now that they've experienced it, I think they'll do better. But I'm telling you, I had to correct and redirect many of the people that I have in my
Mhm.
circle that are in their 30s. They just were clueless. So we have to attend to them too, not just the elderly people and the disabled people.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you guys for jumping on with me this morning. Tea and Conversation. We were live We
You're
did not
welcome.
have tea, and thank you, Tawanda and Ishalina. We did not have our tea and conversation in person at Al's this morning because I just didn't want to be inconsiderate of having people leave their homes, or people just could not leave because of so many reasons, and people phones are still out, their
Yeah.
power is still out. So just wanted to jump on with a few people to chit chat about it. I had a few other people that was um, invited to come on, um, but they didn't have power. I did invite Keela to jump on, but I know she probably overwhelmed with that big old tree hitting her house and all of the limbs and stuff that are down. I just cannot imagine.
Yeah,
So we
she
just have
said
to
she had to
continue
get a crane. They got to get a crane to take it out the house. That's how heavy it is.
continue to pray for uh, the people in the community and across the state. Across the state. Again, yeah. Again,
Yes.
thank you guys
Yes.
for jumping on. And we just have to continue to pray and educate our people, and all just pay attention to the weather, because I don't think it's going to get any better storm wise. It's just going to get worse as time go on. So everyone continue to stay safe. Much love. Made in his image, I am Tea and Conversation Live. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Good
Have
night.
a great week, guys.
All right. Take
Yeah,
care.
thank you.